Yeah. Everybody in the room, everybody got insurance, like health insurance. Everybody healthy. Everybody feel good.
As of today, I do not.
As of today, well, we're gonna have to get you on some Cobra. But what I want to talk about on this last story that we're gonna do here is about a Wisconsin woman. I'm getting this from the rawstory.com. It's a Wisconsin woman that may have to file bankruptcy. Because she was taken to an out-of-network hospital after having a heart attack. And she now owes more than $50,000 more than she would have if she had been taken to the right hospital that was less than a half a mile away. Megan Rothbauer told the news station that she, quote, technically died of a cardiac arrest last September, and she was taken to St. Mary's Hospital, where she spent the next 10 days in a coma. She lived, but was shocked to receive a $254,000 bill from the hospital. Blue Cross Blue Shield, her insurer, eventually agreed to pay its in-network rate of $156,000 to offset the bill, and St. Mary negotiated to reduce the remainder of the bill by $98,000, which left her owing more than $50,000 instead of the $1,500 maximum out-of-pocket fee that she would have had to pay at an in-network hospital that was just 3 blocks away. Quote, I was in a coma. I couldn't very well wake up and say, hey, take me to the next hospital. It was the closest hospital where I had my event, so naturally the ambulance took me there. No fault to them. It's unfortunate that the hospital, of course, was not where she was supposed to go, but we have it, we got it properly set up. So Jay Wash, I know you wanted to get in on the last one. We did have to move on from that one, so I'm gonna have you take the lead and jump in on this one first. This lady owes $50,000 because she went to the wrong hospital, which was around the corner from where she was supposed to be. What you think about this, man? Insurance.
Well, I think obviously there's going to be pros and cons to everything we do, right? And I think maybe this is one of the things that I believe the government's going to have to look at. I mean, this is very unfortunate. Obviously it's one of those situations that was probably you couldn't have prevented it. She was in a coma. She wasn't able to talk or tell her, hey, listen, take me to X, Y, and Z hospital, not St. Mary's. But and I think going back to what Pete said earlier, it's probably one of those situations probably shouldn't happen too often, right? It shouldn't. Every day, we're not. The majority of us probably not going to end up in a coma anytime soon and have to be shipped off to a hospital that's outside of our network, right?
I hope not.
I mean, me personally, I'm gonna be typical. I'd sue somebody because really you took patient A to hospital 10 minutes away instead of hospital 3 blocks away.
Well, they had
or
no
3
reason
miles
to
away.
they had no reason to know which hospital to take her to.
I mean,
this is normal procedure. We take her to wherever and give her to most immediate care, right?
Which is 3 miles away, not 10 miles away.
How do we know why? Well, yeah, not necessarily. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I think that I don't know a lot about, that type of thing, but I would think ambulances know the closest hospital. That's my thought process. You call 911, you think all right, we'll take you to the closest hospital. You just had a heart attack. We're not going to take you 10 minutes away. We're going to take you, if there's one 3 minutes away. To me, it's a common sense issue.
Yeah, but I thought the argument was that they took her to the closest one. The closest one wasn't in her network, though.
It's not in her network.
Right,
yeah.
but that was still the closest one.
Yeah. Let me
$50,000 bankruptcy.
Let me double check it. Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about $50,000 in bankruptcy, but I mean she might be striped. I mean she's 29 or whatever, but I mean $50,000 bankruptcy for $50,000. That's I don't know if I want to use my get out of jail free card for $50,000.
Yeah, the article alludes to the fact that she was taken to the closest one to where she physically was, but that happened to be a hospital that was outside of the network. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think this is an insurance problem, just like the Affordable Care Act wasn't an insurance resolution. This is a hospital care problem. Why doesn't this hospital accept my insurance? It's not the insurance's problem. It's the hospital's fault for not accepting it. So, we bring up this issue. I don't think there's a health insurance problem in America. I think the issue is a health care problem. How in the world do you have a facility that's that's designed to help people and save lives, but they don't accept payment from somebody?
Here's my question. How do you have 2 hospitals 3 miles apart that could have provided the exact same service, and one's in a network and the other one isn't. Like how does that happen? And the situation that people are put in when it comes to this type of, issue. I mean, we're talking about high dollar money here, but let's say it wasn't high dollar money. Let's just say it was one of us who maybe had a broken leg or broken finger or something like that, and we end up going someplace and having it set, and then we find out you probably shouldn't have come here, should have went somewhere else. I mean, I don't know if I'm like laying that out,
I get it.
Articulately,
I think the question, I've never checked to see what hospitals are on my
which hospital you supposed to go to.
I
Like if you had an incident, you would just go to where you at. Like where we standing right here, you probably go to MCV if you were here. If we were on South Side, depending on where South Side, you might go to Chippenham, you might go to CJW. I mean,
can I just be that dude for a second?
So what else is new?
I mean, like I'm reading this, and it's basically instead of $1,500, it's $50,000. Okay, she can't get married now because she's got to pay $50,000 because that's what it says. She was supposed to get married, but they have a $50,000 bill.
Wow.
My thought process is that, are we crying wolf here? I'm not trying to be a douchebag, but I mean $50,000.
It just works out that way with you sometimes.
Yeah, it is. But there are people who have student loans higher than that. And she's talking about bankruptcy over $50,000.
Wow.
I think it's a it's a cry
I was
wolf.
trying to be, but hold on.
Wow.
$48,500.
Grab the mic.
That's what we're
Grab
Yeah.
the mic.
$48,500. We're talking about the difference in my pocket or in my account or wherever it is.
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
because
it's easy to play that game with
Yeah,
somebody
I mean-
else's money, Ruben.
I understand that, man, but most people go bankrupt for over hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I don't think the bankruptcy
I-
is the big issue.
yeah.
I think if take the bankruptcy away.
But
If
that's
she
what
had
she's
it in
talking
cash,
about.
I got you. But she owes $48,500 more than she expected to pay.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the
If
problem.
she paid it out of pocket, I think it's a problem.
One at a time, sister.
The problem is that you're paying for something monthly, believing that you're insured, and the reason that you pay that it's insurance. It's called that for a reason. I believe that when something happens to me, I will get the care that I need, and then I won't come out of my pocket. I won't have to put out $50,000 for it.
but she
And that happened.
they brought her back to life, and she's complaining
Yeah,
about
you-
$48,000.
I mean, she's not complaining. I
Yeah,
understand.
she
It's
is.
one of those. Okay, yeah, I probably should say
But
that.
I don't think
but
the
it's
amount
it's
is
one of
the
those
issue.
things, man, where I go through this with you and to another degree, other people in Legacy and at radio, Carl Banks to be exact. I'm thinking about him. We haven't seen him in a while, but sometimes you got to take that Law and Order stuff and just stick it.
Well, it's not even law
Let
and
me
order to
finish
me.
my
I'm
point.
sorry.
Sometimes you got to take that Law and Order stuff and stick it. Like, seriously. Because this was someone who died and came back to life. This is somebody who had insurance. And this is someone who could not very well tell them, don't take me there because my insurance ain't going to be covered there. Like, who wants to be worried about insurance while they trying not to be dead?
And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that she's complaining. I mean, you got to eat that.
Yeah,
but I think because
she-
you died and they brought you back. What's $50,000 compared to your life?
You can sit here and say that all you
can
want,
say
but
that when
that
it,
kind of
when it was
financial...
supposed to have been 15 though. Like I think this is what we're missing is that it's 50, but remember it was what was it?
$1,500.
No. What was it before?
Oh,
all this
It was
stuff?
$256,000.
And they
let's
knocked
talk
off,
about that
and
number.
they knocked off $98,000.
Right, because everyone must have agreed that, you know what, this
This ain't right.
excessive.
Yeah,
it's
and
not
then
fair
her
that she has to.
and then her insurance even paid $156,000 of it.
Right,
So you
because
all you
they
gotta do
all
is pay
agreed.
$50,000.
No, what do you mean? What do you mean?
No, because they were going to cover $48,500. So yeah, we're gonna pay some of it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they paid out of $254, they paid $156.
Yeah, and
then
they
they lowered it, and then they lowered it to the $50,000 we're talking about. I'm sorry. I mean,
they were going to pay $253.5 though.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
that's what I'm saying.
Of course, they paid $156.
Well, no, and that's what I'm saying,
the books
and
for
that's
$243.
fine. My question is, she's complaining about a $50,000
Exactly.
bill, and she could be dead.
Hey, can I get on Ruben's? This will never happen again. Can I be on Ruben's side for 1 minute?
Go for it.
Ruben, I agree with you. You know what?
Wow.
I'm going to be on a $5 payment plan until
Yes.
I go away from here. Because y'all ain't realizing. No. State income tax has T to do with China. First of all, they're never going to collect it. She doesn't have to file bankruptcy. We got to look at the way society is made and has all
Listen
done
to the
together,
banker.
folks. Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
I'm trying to tell
Authority
you.
on this subject. Go ahead.
Even a counterpart who works in the medical industry knows they're not going to get that money. Insurance companies write off a specific amount of money because they have deals with the doctors, they have deals with the ambulance services, they have deals with everything. She can sit there and, you know what, any court will sit there and say, okay, as long as you make a good faith effort to pay on that, there's nothing they're going to be able to sit there and hold against you, folks.
I'll tell you what they'll hold against you. $50,000 payment. No, listen. That's going to affect her ability to get credit, Mr. Banker. That's going to affect her ability to
Not necessarily.
Trust
me, not necessarily.
So if you owe $50,000
And medical bills. Think about what you're saying.
Oh, I'll speak from experience then. All right, let me bring a personal story. I owed $4,400 that I figured, you know what? I'm in the business. This will just go away after 7 years. It doesn't go away. They do hold it against you when you're trying to get credit for a home purchase. This goes against your ability to borrow debt. This goes against it. It does. But I just arguing one point, one solid point. I'm with you guys actually. She needs to be a little more grateful and thankful. But
she's alive.
But on the other end, they're asking me for money when I could have paid $1,500. I think I'm not mad at her. I'm mad at the situation.
Yes.
How in the world do we live in a country where
That's my point.
it's $1,500 on one
to get
firm
taken care of?
Yeah, you're in the business. Imagine if I tried to charge my clients 3%. Would I ever get? I'm not going to get any business if somebody's over there charging 1% financial advice. You're not going to get that type of. You know what I mean? How are they able to do that in the country? I think is the argument.
But yeah.
Not are we mad at this young lady? Because I think she's grateful. I do think she's grateful.
But I think my opinion is this is ambulance chasing.
I just disagree.
I mean, because I think the story.
Chasing her.
I think the no.
Chasing her.
I think
she's going to catch the ambulance
No.
because this bill is going to get paid. She's not going to pay this money.
What I'm saying is, we'll see. And I, me personally, like I get it, but I'm sorry, man. There's an article about somebody upset they got to pay $48,500 after they brought you back to life because they took you to the wrong hospital. And you can't.
What's the wrong hospital?
Hold on.
It's not a wrong
That is the
hospital.
point.
It's not a wrong
But
hospital. But that's the point that we're trying to make here. It's not a wrong
It's the
hospital.
principle of the matter. Listen, here's an analogy.
principle.
It's as though you went to a restaurant and you ordered a steak dinner, right? But instead, they brought you some chicken, and yes, you were hungry, so you ate some of the chicken. So it's time to go, and they're asking you to pay the price of steak for the chicken that you
Well, I
ate,
disagree with that
right?
analogy
Well,
because
let
that's
me
not
finish.
this.
Let me finish. And so the manager comes on. He said, well, at least you're full, so, can you go ahead and pay? No, the point of the matter is that that's not what I ordered. She is paying insurance, and she chose that specific plan knowing the $1,500 is my deductible, not $50,000.
And I understand
so
that.
that's the problem with
But
that.
I understand that. But my problem with this is, if she was sitting here and this article is about $254,000, I would ride with her all day.
That is
hold on.
The amount,
Hold on.
$50 might be inconsequential to you, but it
Hold up,
means something to
microphones.
somebody.
We talking.
Hold on.
One at a time. Go ahead, finish your point, Ruben.
But we're not. We're talking $254,000. What you got to pay? $50. Oh, I got to pay $50,000 for the right to be alive.
Why do you keep bringing up the alive point?
But that's the point.
No,
She's
that's not the
talking.
point.
Well, hold on. She's talking about filing bankruptcy.
But what
Because-
if she's going to file bankruptcy because she ain't got
So she got
$50,000.
$50,000.
But as you just said, all she's got to do is make a payment arrangement with them and pay them and stuff like that. And then she's complaining, "Well, I can't get married
Yeah,
now
I mean,
because all this."
Let me ask you
just
this.
saying.
So are you suggesting that? Obviously, you're saying, listen, she should get over it. She should be happy that she's alive. But is this fair though? Like, listen, she's getting charged with someone because basically they're treating her like you didn't have insurance. Mind you, she has insurance. She pays on her insurance premium every month, and yet she's getting treated like someone who don't have insurance. Now, are you suggesting that that's fair?
No,
But
what I'm
wait.
suggesting is simply, hey, you just had a heart attack. Ambulance gonna come in. Do you want ambulance to sit there? Okay, let's go see what insurance she has, so we take her to the right hospital.
Thank you, Ruben.
You're gonna
made
be
that
like,
point
you
all the
need
way
to take me
around.
to the nearest hospital to get me alive, and that's what they did.
In essence,
And
we're
she,
saying is
Yeah.
that insurance shouldn't even
Exactly.
in society. Insurance shouldn't even matter, right?
Like
It should.
What we're saying,
It should. It should
what
matter.
we're saying is that this should not even be a case. This should not be allowed to happen. Like who's in charge? Who's in charge of these premiums? I mean, whereas they can like, listen, St. Mary's, you can charge. What is it? It's 100 times more over here than what they charge.
Yep.
then
Three
the
blocks
NCB
away.
That fundamentally
monitoring that?
has always been, and I've listened, I haven't said much, but I'll say this about this, man. That what you just said is fundamentally what my issue is with this story. I part of me understands and tends to agree with Ruben and Joe in the sense that that's the bill, that's what you got, then so be it. But you should have never come to so be it is the problem for me, because we live in a world where insurance is going to dictate where I go. You know what I mean? Like
That's what we've come to.
We've come to a point in our lives in this world, in this country, that insurance is going to dictate where my life could be either saved or not saved. And so in theory, as she's going through that heart attack, it reminds me of the scene in Scandal last year when Cyrus had the heart attack and he's still handling his business in the back of the ambulance. But sorry, I had a Scandal moment. But anyway, it's one of those things where if she was coherent, are we really expecting her to say, don't take me to that hospital?
she ain't
Take
even
me
saying
to
that.
this. Like, that is the situation and the position that the theory of, oh, well, pay that 50 is making us, like, if we were to backtrack and see how we got here.
Right.
This is how we got here. You know, and to me, this fundamentally a problem with that when insurance can say, I'll take this hospital over this hospital, when I'm sure that they got to go through similar accreditations, but because of tax credits and whatever it is that people are far more smarter than I understand, I'm going to pay these people $156,000 because they're in network. But I'm not going to pay these same 156. The way I understand this story, they had to be forced to pay that 156, which is
Absolutely.
what they would have paid anyway. Right. And the hospital said, you know what, we're going to come to the middle as well, and we're going to take off 98,000, which is what left her with that 50.
Right.
That's a problem, man.
Yeah,
I understand.
They even had to go to those measures. Like, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I'm almost done my point. It's a problem that we are to the point where we got to go through all that. And okay, she's alive. She should just be happy to
With
be
50.
alive and pay the 50. I got a problem with that.
Let me ask you this, Rube. Question. You got insurance, right?
Yep.
Do you know what hospitals in your network?
Nope.
You're having a heart attack. They take you to St. Mary's. You like St. Mary's. I like. They got new stuff.
Yeah.
There. You get the bill and you find out from your bill, like, wait a minute, I gotta pay $200 and XYZ dollars more than what I would have had to pay if y'all would have took me down the street to some other hospital. It's just as good. You telling me you wouldn't be upset?
Cut the bullshit, man.
I mean,
ain't paying the guy.
Because listen, hold on.
You saw his face?
Because look.
honestly, real talk, I don't know.
Come on.
Oh, that's crazy.
No, really, I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I'm so honest. I don't.
Now you gotta let him go.
Like,
You
I
wanna
can
bust
sit
him
here and
out?
be like, yeah, I'll be pissed off. But honestly,
You're gonna make me cuss on this.
I mean, you
Like
can
the
cuss
great
all you
Martin
want, man.
Lawrence. Rule,
But
I ain't
I would
paying
be
the
so
fine.
happy. I would be so happy.
Come on, man.
Are you
I mean,
kidding me?
I'd be telling all my family, yo, I saw the light and I came back.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's not discount the fact, because we don't know if this lady was extremely grateful and gracious about being saved. I think the argument is not that she wasn't gracious. The argument is that she's saying this is unfair. Right?
Yeah.
So you would be gracious and happy and thankful, but you still would be like, what?
probably, yeah.
the hell,
I would be,
What the
but I
hell?
wouldn't be.
What the hell?
But I
There you
guess
go.
my thing is, I feel like, me personally, I feel like the way the article's written, and as we talk about this, yeah, it's like, I owe $50,000, I should know $50,000, and now I can't get met. What's it got to do with
But
your
that's not-
$50,000?
But I think we're missing the point though. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like if you went into the hospital, you had a heart attack, your life was on the line, and you knew, like, listen, take me to St. Mary's. I trust the doctors there, but you didn't know that because, of course, nobody's reading the fine line. You didn't know that hospital was outside of your network, and then you getting charged 50 times more money than what you would have originally been charged. My thing is that, and then it's gonna be some guy on the microphone like us, like, well, he should have read the policy. He should know what's in his network. Does that then make it okay? Is what I'm saying. If it's you in that situation, you're up. You chose St. Mary's.
Wait, she couldn't even choose.
Exactly, she was unconscious.
But no,
So it shouldn't even have been a
that's what I'm saying.
network. You know what the
saying,
issue
even
is?
she
Like we
was-
said,
Yeah.
network, inside a network, outside
Yeah,
a network,
man.
hospital is hospital. Get me safe.
And that's my
Exactly.
point. My point is who's
Ultimately,
checking-
that's it.
That's my point. My point is if I'm bleeding to death, who's going to say, "Wait a minute, let me call my coverage to make sure that it
And that's-
hospital
and that's
where you
what
want to
I'm-
take me because I'm
but
not
see-
sure. I can't remember if that one's in my
And that's
network."
and my thing is that's what I'm saying. Like from this article, she does. I can't tell if she was grateful that she's alive right now or not. Because
Right.
all I hear is I gotta pay a whole bunch of money and now I can't get mad because I owe $50,000.
But that's all they quoted her on.
But
Like,
even if that was her only argument, even if she was just a nasty
it's
person
justified.
who was like, "Well, y'all better have saved me," even if she took that attitude, was fair is fair, and what was out of her control was out of her control. And hey, look, man, if that's the way it is, I got you. I get the whole law and order thing. You know me well
It's
enough.
not law and
Let
order.
me finish, Ruben. Quit cutting me off, man. The law and order thing is where you lose me. It is law and order because it's like network versus out of network. That's where it becomes law and order. For me, it's like a common sense thing. And sometimes we miss common sense when we try to apply law and order. And where you have the common sense and the argument I'm making is if you got 2 accredited hospitals, then what
Right.
freaking difference does it make? That's where you
Shouldn't
lose
make a
me.
difference.
And that's where it's law and order with me. Because it's like, I can't go here. Like, again, she's coherent. She has to sit while she's under duress medically and actually make a decision over which hospital to go to. She has to drive past the hospital that she is closest to
Right.
to get to the other one. It's just something fundamentally wrong with that.
Now, if you're saying the system is wrong,
Absolutely.
Great.
What
That's
point
what I say.
argument. We
Me
just spent
personally,
20 minutes
that's
trying
an
to get you to get
I mean,
that.
The system is
but
taking
I'm-
50,000 from her.
but I'm not complaining about the system.
Me personally,
Oh,
because
my
this could be you, Rube. Like, listen,
Oh,
like
my
Rube,
God.
listen.
Look,
hold
man.
on. Let me say this, Rube, because you've just admitted that it could be you because you don't know
It
what
could be
hospitals
me.
are in your
Come
network.
on,
So this could actually be you, him, me, any of us in here. This could happen to because none of us are versed enough in our politics, except for Jane, of course. You know what I mean? Whereas you know what hospitals are in your network. You know what I mean? So you could be this chick paying. They're just saying, hey, listen. Well, although you would normally owe $15,000, you owe $255,320. You know what I mean? That's the problem.
I understand that. I guess what I'm saying is, yes, they took her to the wrong hospital. However, hey, you talking about you can't get married now? Yeah, you can. You're alive here to get married, and I feel like she is not. I think she's being petty. I think she's being very petty.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can disagree with me if you want.
Yeah,
but
I do.
I think she's being extremely petty.
There should
Okay.
not
I
be a
mean,
wrong
If
hospital.
those doctors, to your point, Ruben, if those doctors are smart enough, if this country, those hospitals are smart enough to create medicine and procedures to bring that young lady back to life, how silly is it that we can't find a policy to have that medical procedure paid for? We are smart enough to save a human being from death.
And
but
she
we
was
can't get
dead.
a way to
She
pay
was
it?
dead in a coma for 10 days. She came back to have to deal with a $50,000 bill. I mean, that's
we that
Ruben.
silly? We're smart enough to create medical procedures to save a life. Bring you back from death. But the guys up at the top don't feel like it's important enough to have relationships with these insurance companies to pay for the bills. And you know why we're also mad and on her side, not just the system, because the system affected her just like it'll affect you. Right. And so when the system affects you, then you have my sympathy because those hospitals can pay hundreds of millions of dollars at any point, because not only do they have the money to do it, they have insurance to do it. They're gonna be that petty to pay $98,000 and say, "Oh, you know what? You take that care of that 50." They could have took care of that. 50.
They could have took care of the whole
They
amount,
got
and they
millions
chose
of
not
dollars
to.
and insurance.
And
to go-
this is one of those situations when rich people. I don't want to go in a wrong tangent, but rich people use poor people up so bad that it's just sad. When you look at politics, you got the blue and the red. I call them the purple people. You got these rich people on TV pandering to poor people. And then when they get the job, they do nothing with it. Ain't no how to Steppin Marcus J. All right, you can have, you can see what you're gonna get. with the pregame. I got the crew of the pregame here in studio with us, Legacy Internet Radio. Of course, we went way over, as we normally do here. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. I'm definitely glad to have the pregame here. They're going to debut their show on December 5th, Friday night from 8 to 10, right here on Legacy Internet Radio. Thank you to the folks listening to us on TuneIn. We're going to take our final break of the night, and when we come back, we're going to have our rants, we're going to have our closings, and we're going to have a word from the pregame. Big Joe and Big Rube. Marcus J. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Be back in a few minutes.